Alright, in this video today, what I'm going to teach you guys is how to precisely tip the head on your Bridgeport at an angle. And here is a Bridgeport mill. This is a picture I got off of the internet. Um, Mine wouldn't look quite like this, but I just wanted to illustrate there are occasions when you want to tip the head on your Bridgeport mill at an angle. Now, what we're going to learn today is how to do it precisely as a tool maker or a mold maker would do. We see these markings on the side of the head. The ones we're going to be working with are on this scale here. This scale here tilts the head back and forth. This scale here is for tilting it side to side, just like this head is tipped here. So again, we're going to be working with this nut and these four screws in the front. One, two, three, four. And the first thing you're going to do is loosen these four screws and then slightly snug them up so the head's really not that loose, but you have to be able to turn it again. And I use the word nut. It's not quite accurate. That is a bolt that turns on there's a worm gear in there that's going to, as you turn this, it's going to either tilt the head up this way or back down this way. Now let's talk about these angle markings. I can tell you the one on the Bridgeport that we're about to see, that is a live demo in the shop, they're 2 degrees off. Don't know how that ever could have happened because that should be in the casting, but it's off by 2 degrees. So maybe yours is too. And so again, these numbers will get you close. Perhaps if you do basic welding work or things like that where you don't need to be perfectly set on an angle. Today we're going to set this head on 5 degrees, but these will get you close. But what I'm going to teach you in this next video is how to accurately guarantee that your head is tipped at a precise angle. So this is shot live in the tool shop. I was teaching an apprentice how to do this, handed him my iPhone, and I hope you'll get the gist of it by using a sine bar. It's like tramming the head in straight, except you're tramming it in on an angle. So let's get started.
Okay. So you can stay nice and close here. So what we're going to do here is learn how to tip a Bridgeport head on an angle the right way. And today's lesson we're going to do it on a 5-degree angle. We're going to tip this Bridgeport head at a 5-degree angle. So to do this correctly, you're going to need a couple things. You're going to need a 5-inch sine bar, a couple of pins that'll fit inside your T-slots to make sure your sine bar is straight. I can't imagine the last time these T-slots may have been filed out, but alright. Second thing you're going to need for a 5-degree angle, you'd have to calculate a sine gauge block height. Sine of 5 degrees times 5. I happen to have these pre-made blocks I made years ago, and I don't have the dimension on there, so we'll write that down later. But what you would do is calculate your 5-inch sine. We're going to tip the head this way, so we want to tip our sine bar up like that, and just make sure we're fairly straight here. Second thing we're going to do on the Bridgeport, to loosen the head this way or this way, there's these 4 butt nuts. Ooh, they're a little worn out. This light's right in my face. I haven't tipped the head on a Bridgeport on an angle in many, many years. And we're going to use this nut on the side. Start tipping the head back on 5 degrees. We found out last time we tried something on this machine, these numbers for whatever reason on the side aren't very accurate. We'll try it and get it at 5. See how close it is. What I always do is I go past, and go to like 6 degrees, and then bring it back up against the screw. That's 6, and then come back to 5. And we'll see how close this is. I'm just going to snug the head up just a hair so it's not floating. And just to get our first reading. Next thing you'll need, dial indicator and an indicol. That's how I do it. your head neutral. And what we're going to try and do is get this, everything's blocked on this thing. Bring our table up. Turn this so you can see it.
Care if I turn this light off?
Is it too bright? Go ahead.
Yeah. Can't read numbers.
Yeah, the glare.
Yep.
Okay, so now you just bring it up to you hit a 0, just like you're traveling the head as if you're flat, and you're just going to come around to this side. And we're not even close. These numbers are so far off. Look at how much off they are.
I'm not even touching.
Right. So that means if it's like this, the head's got to come back this way. So it's set. It's set way too much of an angle. So we'll loosen this back up a little bit. And reduce that angle a little bit.
Now we're tipping it back so it touches now, correct?
Exactly. You want it to be the same on both sides. Getting close now. Just bring the head up a little bit. Not quite touching yet. So we can still keep going down. Just touching there. Might have gone a little too far. Just touching there. You can just bring it back up again. And all it is now is just a matter of going back and forth until you get a 0. That's just touching by a couple. That's a little heavy, so we're going to bring it back a little bit more. 5. Or just to make it look good on the video, let's just set a 0. 0 to 1, and you know that's pretty close, but if you want it perfect, that's within 2. 0
And a half.
Yep. Make sure we're straight here. Pretty close. Now the last thing you would do, when I say pretty close, that's within less than a half a thousand. Snug them first. This head might move a little bit when you snug it. Zero. See it move, it's a couple thou. Sometimes if it's just snug, you might be able to still move it a little bit. Maybe not. 5. Just trying to split the difference. Okay. One more time. A lot of this is going to matter, I would assume, how old your mill is. But that is the correct way to tip a Bridgeport head on a precise angle. You have to use a sine bar. Again, there, there. We're good. So that's it.